everybody, welcome back. My name is Cassie. I am the Evil Secret Ninja, and I talk about and review books on my channel. So today I am doing a book review of Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This is the fourth book in the Stormlight Archives. I recognize that it's hard to do a review for the fourth book in the series without doing any spoilers, but I'm gonna try my best. So to do a quick overview of the Stormlight Archives, I don't even know where to begin, because all of these books are over 1,000 pages. There's 4 of them right now. There's another one coming out probably in a couple of years. That will be like the first part of the Stormlight Archives. And then I think there's another like 4 or 5 books planned, but they take place at another time, kind of like Mistborn Era 1 and Era 2. So this is going to be like the Era 1 of the Stormlight. So in the Stormlight Archives, we follow a large cast of characters, and they are fighting a war against another race of beings. So these things are not humans, and they've been this war's been going on for a while, but they're also, like, the human kingdoms are fighting amongst themselves, and they're also fighting these other beings. So there's different kinds of swords that have a magical element to them. They're called shard blades. And then there's shard plate, which is an armor that's also related to the shard blades. And in the first book, it's kind of like these are the main sources. These are the weapons that they have. These are the special weapons, the special knights, princes, and the best trained get these weapons. And they use what they call Stormlight to operate. And Stormlight is the magic that they receive when the storms come. Some of our characters, we have Kaladin, who is he's a slave. They call him the bridge runner. And so his job is to run bridges across these shattered plains. So to go from one plane to the next, when really they're just target practice. So that the enemy will fire on the bridge burners rather than the knights. So basically they're just cannon fodder. And these circumstances which he became a slave are kind of questionable. Somebody basically made him a slave to cover up something that they'd done. We also follow Shalon, and she draws things, and apparently she kind of has this connection to things when she draws things, especially if she's not paying attention to it, and it tends to be something bigger than what she's drawing. And then we have Adolin and Dalinar. Dalinar is the father, Adolin is his son. These are kind of rulers of a certain kingdom, and those are kind of the 4 main characters. And then you have lots and lots of slightly less main characters and lots of smaller characters. So in the Stormlight Archives, of course, we're learning more about this world, and we're learning that the things that we learned in the first 3 books, which made you think like, hey, I got a good idea like what goes on in this world. And of course, in fashion of the author, he tends to change everything up as you continue on in the story. What you thought you knew, you don't really know. So there's a lot of twists and turns in here. There's a lot of things that are explained as it goes into like the war and what's happening, and kind of a little bit more what's the bigger picture. And also that, hey, what we thought was going to happen didn't. And I have to say, like, the first few hundred pages, there wasn't a whole lot going on. And now, normally when I would be reading a book and I think, wow, I'm like 250 pages in, there's not much going on. Then I have to remember that this book is like 1,200 pages long, so I'm really just at the beginning. And I wouldn't say that I was like bored at the beginning. It was more that it was kind of laid out to certain characters, like what the consequences of this war had been on them that has taken place in the last 3 books. So we have Kaladin, and he's struggling with his depression, and we have Shalon, and I won't really say what she's struggling with. It has to do with her abilities, her drawing abilities, which has developed into something more, and some secrets that she's been trained to keep from herself in her past. that are coming back to haunt her. One of the major themes in the whole series has been being forged by adversity, about how the struggles and trials that we go through make us stronger people in the end. And there's plenty of stories and things in there and examples of how, hey, this person struggled with this adversity and they became out stronger in the end. But they still had to struggle through it, and just because they're stronger doesn't mean that they don't still suffer from all of those adversities that brought them to where they are. Now, I guess I'll just put my 2 cents in worth as a mental health professional. That is true in some sense. You know, like, we can be forged by our adversity. We can, when we have struggles and stuff in our life and we overcome them, we can become stronger as a person. But we have to struggle through that. And we have to work through that. Of course, this is just fiction, and so it makes it a little bit easier. Like, oh, yeah, I'm struggling with this, but this certain thing happens and now I feel better. We don't typically have those moments in life where it's like suddenly everything's better. We have to work through that adversity. And so while he did, I felt like the author did it really good, like exploring the mental illness, you know, they had a little bit too much of an aha moment, which, you know, is what we all look for and we like in literature, that like, okay, this person had this struggle and then they overcame it. But I do like how he said, okay, so he's overcome the struggle, he's becoming a stronger person, but he is still suffering from the things that brought him here. It didn't make him better, which adversity doesn't make us better. And there are plenty of examples, at least in my field with the people that I work with, that they don't ever get to that point. And of course, like, my job is to kind of help people get there. And a lot of times it's just a struggle, one step at a time, one day at a time. And that they don't ever have that aha moment. It's just that over days and days and months and years of struggling and doing better, that slowly they start to do better and they start to become different and think differently and work differently. Like, people in general, we have experiences in our lives that are a little bit traumatic. That's kind of my, like, little mental health insert in there. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. Even though, like, the first couple hundred pages, I was kind of going, okay, so when are we going to get into it? And even though there was a lot of setup during the beginning, I was like, okay, I know something's coming. It's any page now, you know. And then when it happened, it was better than I thought. And I guess I also was kind of going, you know, this experience that they're going through, like, I'd be okay if they left it on a cliffhanger and that maybe resolved it in the next book. But I was okay with how it got resolved in this book. So now I will be anxiously anticipating the release of the next book in the series, whatever that's going to be and whenever it comes out. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys all have a nice day. Bye.